Start the December 11th City of Cross Lake Public Information Meeting for the 2023 tax levy. It's 6 o'clock.
Can you put my agenda up there, TJ? Yep, lights on. All right, I've got a real short agenda. We're on item 2. We're going to have a public information meeting, so we'll take public comments. We'll close it, and then we'll have our council discussion. So I had this big speech laid out because I thought I was just going to get drilled on why are my taxes what they are, why is my property what it is, and no, I can't say it. So
You want to do it anyway?
no, I can put all of us to sleep, but we have one member of the public here.
That's fine.
So does that member have any
Come on up, Tom.
comments?
I just wanted to make sure someone was here to bitch about, I got my tax statement in the mail for proposed taxes. I wanted to hear you tell me I'm at the wrong meeting.
You're at the wrong meeting.
I guess I do have one.
Here we go.
I would have been disappointed.
I'm going to sit down.
Just want to thank you for your support of that 5-year plan. That we're getting it up and moving, and I think when people see 6-7 miles of seal coated, and we do Daggett Pine Road, and I think people know we're taking the road serious. The other comment I have, it's sort of budget related, I guess. So I looked at the agenda tonight, and Tim Bray's, I don't know, what he put together for the landscaping, is that kind of extravagant? I mean, I thought we were doing like 750 and 550 was coming out of the phone company, and then we had like 200,000 that we were looking at, and I don't remember what the figure was, but it seemed like it was well over 200,000. So I'm not sure how you
It was
pull
around
back
business 256,
people,
something like that. It was over 250.
yeah.
That's kind of where we wanted to stay, right?
Right.
No, we wanted 200 or less.
Well, the combined though isn't the combined though of the,
Because there's 550 that's set aside for the roundabout area, and then there's 200 in the budget for
Correct.
the aesthetics.
That's correct.
And what they're proposing is probably
It
closer
went
to
up,
300,
but I think he was going from, here's what it'll cost you if you do nothing on upgrades,
Yeah.
all the way to where if you do AAA plus.
Yeah,
See what
but
I'm saying?
I think he netted it out. He
Yeah.
gave you credit for what they would normally do,
Yeah,
and then
That's
the
correct.
difference,
was our
Yeah.
cost, yeah.
and that's well over 200.
But I didn't. Which number was it, does anybody remember?
And the other comment I'll make about the streetlights is, and I was gonna stand up during public forum, but I'll just say it now so you get it in your head. When they, or you can ask Tim Bray to maybe structure the contract so that the streetlights that get pulled out for the new ones going in, Public Works and or the park would like those. TJ can maybe use a couple of them up around the park somewhere, and if somebody hits one with a car or something, I don't know if we can even get those same standards anymore. So what'll happen if you don't, they'll come in with a front end loader, hook a chain on, pull it out, and it'll go right into a dumpster. So maybe mention that to Tim, that whatever streetlights come out, the city wants to retain
That's
those.
a great point, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you've got to, especially down at the river.
You going to come back up during the regular meeting and say that again?
No, you guys can, just when Tim is talking, you can
Yeah.
just say, we want to make sure we keep those streetlights.
Salvage them. Come on in. Here's what he's talking about.
Pepsi wasn't that.
That's right. That's right.
We had been trying to contain it.
The blue column is the one. I don't think Harlan's here to talk about the budget, right? Okay, he's just early, he wanted to get a place to sit for tonight's meeting. Any other public comments? Tom's shaking his head no. So you could close the public information meeting, and then we could have the council discussion.
Yeah, okay, we'll close the public information portion. Open up the council for comment.
Before we do that, everyone always asks, how do we compare to everybody else? This was page 2 of your
Thank you.
property tax notice that I'm sure all of you read. This is not in your packet. But I highlighted Cross Lake. You can see there's quite a wide range of levy changes in our immediate area. Now, one thing that makes us unique in Cross Lake is most of the other cities we're compared to get, except for Ideal Township, all of these entities, except for us, get some level of state aid, local government aid to offset their taxes. We get zero. So if you look at Baxter, their budget is around 23 million. On the revenue budget, they get a very sizable chunk of local government aid, as does Brainerd and Crosby and Deerwood, Emily, Pequot. Cross Lake gets zero. We get $404 of homestead credit, and that's it.
Why is that much?
Because our property values are, and this is not in your packet, but we talked about it last month. If you look at just Cross Lake, our values represent about 12 to 13% of the entire value of the county, which means we have very high property values at roughly $2.4 billion, where Crow Wing County is about $18.5 billion. The 37 square miles across lake represents $2.4 billion. The changes between this year and last year, and this is also in your packet, and I can point out where that is. Last year, our tax rate was 20.886%. This year, based on the levy we're looking at, is 18.72. The reason for that is because our property taxes went up, our levy request went up a little bit, but our values went up at a much, much higher rate. The other way to look at that is if you look at page 7 of your document, I've provided you a history of tax rates and levies going back to 2016. Here's this year, what we're looking at with the levy request we have. But the interesting thing is I always try to figure out how that levy is split up, where those extra dollars are coming from. If you think about it, if you have changes in tax capacity, if those are more than your impact on tax levy, all of the new money is coming from changes in value instead of changes in tax increases, which means although you're asking for more money, that drives your tax rate down. That doesn't mean you'll pay less tax. It just means it gets spread over a larger base. So we've seen cases where, just like last year, where we saw about 38% increase in market values overall. This year, it's about 16%, which means your property could go up in value depending on where you fall in there, and your taxes could actually go down. It could be just the flip of what you saw last year. One of the things Aaron had asked me through this whole process is he wanted to understand what the changes were from our last meeting and to highlight those. Is that correct?
Yep.
So if you go to page 5 of your budget document, we didn't make any revisions to revenues. But I've listed these out by department. We talked about our technology subscriptions. One of the conversions we're going through right now internally is with our email and our software. Some of it that we're using police first to get them compliant, which has been kind of fun, right, Jake? Yeah. We're having some fun getting our email updated. We're running into some issues where not all of you've all got the email through Tremolo. When you go on their webmail and look at it, what's happening is that's not the same as what's coming through to our Outlook right now. So we're working through some of those issues. Because a lot of stuff is getting stuck. We're not making it through their filter at Tremolo. And so we're constantly having to check our spam folders because that's where it ends up. And then we take it out of the spam at that one and then resync it with our internal system. So that'll go away soon. That's what that is. Citywide, when we split all that out, if you remember when Kelvin Daniels was here, big guy from Extona, trying to explain that to us, we had agreed to a subscription service with them for about $1,025 a month. And that's a combination of email, security, and our online Microsoft Outlook, which is the way it has to be going forward. That's what that is. That's split through everything. And what we're going to hear from later tonight at our regular meeting with Harlan is health insurance, where we've come to an agreement with each of the bargaining units to accept the changes to health insurance. Big picture, it'll cost us, with our current census meaning those that are enrolled in the program, about $7,000 less a month. That's what's split through all of those. We added some into elections to reflect 3 elections. So we made those adjustments. You'll see the same titles in each of the categories. Adjust health insurance, adjust the health savings account. We talked about the sewer inspections. That should say sewer consultant fees instead of health consultant. We added $10,000 for sewer inspections. General government, we talked about adding staff for admin and planning and zoning, and the number that was given, the total overall number was $150,000. So I just built it backwards. Where would the total salary and benefits come out to total $150,000? So there's benefits built into that number. The next one was training for everyone. We have the same things for police. One thing that Jake had requested, and Jake can talk about these if you have any questions, were tactical team and related setup costs and stop sticks for the squad cars. Do you have any comments on those, Jake?
Well, the stop sticks are fairly simple. Just the nature of things these days to get pursuits stopped quickly is a very good thing. Less risk to the general public and liability on us. We currently have stop sticks like that again in 2 cars, so we need 4 other sets.
What are those?
got new officers, this kind of thing. TAC team is, it's called SWAT team, just so there's no confusion. It's the SWAT team. That's something a lot of the New England officers want to be on when they get into this profession. The only person in Cross Lake that's ever been on SWAT team was retired Chief Rick Lee back when he was a sergeant. I look at it as a retention tool. It gives these guys an opportunity to actually do something that they can do if they work with a bigger department. And they can be involved with the stuff they want to be involved with as a police officer. It's also a benefit to our community that has two guys that are like trained, so they're here. I mean, they're much better trained than the trained one. As far as training goes, it's twice a month for 4 hours, 2 days a month for 4 hours.
So is that 10 grand for that, Jake?
It's gonna be probably more about 8,000 to get them up and started, but I just to get some money in the budget because I don't know the cost.
But that's the cost for the training,
That's the cost of the gear.
the gear.
Yep. It's about 3,500 piece for the gear plus a few other things, and then I think there'll be enough left over if we have to use some of it for the training. They both have to go to basic SWAT school for a week, and that's about $1,000.
So who are the candidates, Tony and Patrick?
Yeah, that marking officer, Tony Dean.
Did you check in to see if the grant money that's being allocated for police training and safety and all that would, that would be eligible for that?
I haven't been able to do any of that.
I think we need to do that. They have monies there for that. I think that would be,
Yeah, this all just came up recently, and then the right grant, for a grant, it's not something I want to wait. You guys have been talking about wanting to do some extra stuff.
yeah, this is on the league site, letting people know to, letting police departments know that they should be applying for training and anything else that would help get the,
Yep, I understand that. This came up quickly. I just talked to Mike just a few weeks ago about that. And it seems very important to him. That's why I asked if it was too late to put it on the budget. It is something I can do and I will do.
So
Just to-
Jake, is this something that, you've identified what you think all the costs are? Once you start in this, will there be anything else you need for that program that could be covered by grants?
No, that's going to cover all their gear, and their gear will be good, especially the vest will be good for 5 years, for sure, the vest. The rest of the gear should be good longer. The county does pick up some costs, but I'm really just looking at the way things are, and we all know, we've all talked about retention. It means a lot to these guys to be able to do more than just be this, and it's a benefit to our community. And I'm looking at more of the retention tool, and all this has just happened like in the last month that they really started talking about it and really started showing their interest. Although it's always been there, they've just started conveying that to me. And I think it's important to let them be able to go ahead and do some of this stuff that will keep them from leaving here just to go to a bigger department to have other opportunities to do things that they can.
Is that training through the county?
No, the training will be down in Minneapolis through a separate private company that does that kind of training.
Okay.
But the 2 days a month is with the rest of the TAC team, the SWAT team. It's all in the county. The number of calls these days for like call-outs for them is not as high as it used to be. I think I can wash out the training hours more or less in the schedule. So we're not paying any overtime. I'd keep that to a minimum. The call-outs, I would say, are less than half a dozen a year, and usually they just last a few hours, if it even happens. So,
Sounds good.
Nice, Steve. Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jake. The other, nothing else left in police. Fire, we had the one correction where I had another 0 on uniforms that I think Marcia got. That was at our first meeting back in August, but that popped out towards the end, so we adjusted that. The rest is,
Like Chip did.
the only other change in there would be down in sewer where we added some additional fees for lab testing. Oops, there we go. So there were $126,482 of expense changes for a total expenditure of $8.8 million. Those changes are the summary that are sprinkled out throughout the, all the detail in there. So if we look at what does our summary look like?
So all those are reflected in the current budget, the budget we have here.
Yes.
Okay.
This is page 9 of your document. And so the total expenditures we just talked about, this 8.8 million is right here. So that reflects what we just talked about. We talked earlier about our tax statement that we got from the county, where we showed the preliminary levy for Cross Lake is up 5.44% over last year. There it is, right there. And I've showed what's changed between this year and last year. Our debt service levy went down a couple $100,000. Our operating capital, primarily in capital, went up 484, which is real close to the roundabout number, the city share of the roundabout, which is about a $262,000 increase in our levy over last year. That's your summary. I also have on the page prior to that your sample resolution to approve this levy, should you want to do that tonight. I don't have anything else to talk about.
I noticed that the chip sealing, haven't we gotten a bill from the county yet?
We have not. That bill is estimated to be about $110,000 in round numbers. I did contact, speak with both Tim Bray, Rob Hall, and Jordan Larson. They're waiting on some final cost information to wrap up their billing from their subcontractor, but the amount's about $110,000, $115,000, right in that range. So that's good news, because our whole intent on this was to take that crack sealing road improvement projects that we budgeted this year that we didn't spend, and roll that into next year to offset any bonding costs we have for our road project plan. So we're in good shape with that respect. Going back to this page, the balancing number in this, if everything came out perfect, dollar for dollar, right to the penny, we'd end up with about $67,847 more than we planned as a cushion in our general fund.
Do we have to keep the 36,356 in debt service? I mean, that's over, isn't it? It's an increase.
Which one are you looking at,
Debt
Marcia?
service was reduced.
Yes, we have to keep that in there. That's based on current issues that are still outstanding. And we'll show we have to have money for that last payment when those come due.
That's it?
I guess. I just have one comment about the email we got for the complaint about the sewer rates. I think we need to send out, when we get a complaint like that, we should send them the sewer operating budget, and the fact that we put $188,000
So which complaint was that?
Like 2 months ago.
a month ago, this last month.
Yeah, I get lots of complaints on rates and
But
stuff. and so
I'm
does
just
Shar.
saying, it's very easy to
Yeah.
take care of if you just, I would just elem back the operating budget of the sewer fund, and that we're levying $188,000 taxes to take care of that fund. I would think that would take care of it. Maybe not.
Usually those emails come out after I have that conversation, because they still, I've had them ask, that I'm going to call the co-op too, because I'm only in my cabin a week and I don't want to pay the meter charge. But yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I'm just saying
Yep.
that when we start billing for it, that if we get those.
Yeah, we can do that.
Those kind of comments or complaints, I think the resolution would be to send them the sewer operating budget and the fact that we levied 188,000. And then there's a lot of people that are not using the sewer and are paying for their septic systems. So all's fair, I think.
Yeah, I take it one step further. I say we had to levy 188,000 just to get the operations to zero. And by the way, we had to levy every penny of debt service, and that was 254.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
We got to show them. We got to show them.
They don't believe us.
Well, it's in black and white, and it's certified. It's a levy, so.
So, Mike, are you looking for us to approve the final budget here?
I'm looking for two motions. The first motion of which is to adopt the levy, which is on page 8 of your document. That would be one motion, and then a separate motion would be to adopt the summary budget.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we adopt the levy of
Tax rate of 18.78%.
I would say the numbers on page 8.
$5,998,450.
Correct.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Then your second motion would be to adopt the summary budget as presented on page 9 of this document.
Is that the 8.8? Is that the 8.8 or the percentage?
Both. It'd be $7,273,364 of revenue and $8,829,277 of expenses, which is essentially this page. And then we're looking at all these
Yep.
adjustments that we've been talking about.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the total funds revenues of $7,273,364, and then approve expenditures of $8,829,277.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to thank all of you for your hard work in getting this together. We've had a lot of good debate, and thank you, Tom. I get a lot of phone calls from Tom.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Fantastic.
Jackson?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.